So hello everybody, thanks for having me as today. My name is Enrico Fossati, I'm a CRO, Chief Revenue Officer for Dynamo. That means that I'm responsible for onboarding a cloud service provider in the Dynamo platform. We will go into that very soon. We also have here Mauro that will support me, and also Francesco. So let's start from why Dynamo exists. We've seen an incredible acceleration in the transformation of the context that we are living in the past 5 years. Everything changed. The priorities for the CIO that were mainly focused on optimizing cost and getting a better product with better service switched radically in the last years. COVID was an incredible accelerator for that. So together with optimizing the supply chain, the operation, the products, CEOs now have other priorities, which are sustainability, which is not just, statements of I'm sustainable, I'm greenwashing my marketing statements, but it's something that is really impacting the business. Look at the automotive, the green transition, how it is impactful. And our colleagues talked a lot about the carbon footprint, which is really something that is changing the way that company works. So sustainability, we have resilience. I've never heard the word resilience in meetings before 2020. So never. We were discussing with my colleagues, we were former colleagues in HP, and we had a process of governance for the deals. And you had to dedicate some risk. There was a chapter for the replying to tenders, and you had to build a plan for in case of pandemic. And when there was the governance of the deal, they say, okay, switch it, put aside. We put some money on that, leave that. Never use pandemic, but then it happens. And then there is the business transformation that is really happening. So digitalization is really allowing a merge, the fusing of different industries. So industries that had nothing to do with themselves, now they are working together. So if I was a producer of sunglasses, suddenly I become a tech-med company because I get the data regarding the usage of the data of the glasses. The glasses are connected, they generate data, etc., etc. So the colleagues of EIT and Ponto6 explained quite a lot what has changed, and this created a need. So CEOs have priorities, and there is a need of taking care of the fact that these changes are addressed. So the context is creating a data economy emergence. These data that we are generating in each transaction with connected products, with connected services, need to be managed, needs to be protected, needs to be exploited. This is a big thing that is happening. The data requires infrastructure, requires cloud, requires the way to be stored, managed, shared, exploited. But in Europe, we have a fragmented system. So we don't have people, economical companies that are able today to take care of the data economy emergence by themselves. So there's a lot of subjects. The market is super fragmented, but there is no one that has the possibility to address the data economic emergency. Why? Because any individual cloud service provider doesn't have the capabilities, the depth of portfolio, the critical mass to address this. On the other hand, the European companies, the CEOs whose priorities have changed, they need cloud solutions that enable getting control of the data and getting trust on that. they need to be able to reduce the dependency from single provider. So if data is the value of my company, and these data are stored in platforms, technologies that are managed by a single provider, I'm locked in. I'm losing the control. The business has changed, so we see more and more the proliferation of data. The data are created along the supply chain at any stage, from the from the machine in the plant to the headquarters. So the data are super distributed, hyper distributed along the supply chain, and they need to have a model to manage all these fragmentation and distribution of the data. Then we discussed quite a lot in the first presentation about the fact that regulations are important, are needed, but at the same time they are a burden, and the burden is on the shoulder of companies that have other burdens to take care of, which is surviving on the market. We talked a lot also about the SME, SMBs, etc. So we have in Europe, in Italy, but also in the other countries, the economic ecosystem is really founded on small, medium enterprise, which risks to be put out of the market by this mechanism. Therefore, in this context, in the context of being able to create an infrastructure and an ecosystem of cloud service, we need to create an alternative model, because the alternatives that today are on the market are not addressing these needs. Then we gave a look to what is happening on the market, on the cloud market. So we've seen that. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So we've seen that there is still a lot of opportunity. So European organizations are adopting cloud, but most of them have less than half of the workload in the cloud. So the expectation is that in the next years, the adoption will grow. And we can see on the right-hand side, Source is another one. So this is a McKinsey study. So the other one is a source of Statista. We've seen the revenues of the cloud market is raising quite a lot. So in 3 years, it's almost doubling. What is the problem? Is that the share of wallets of the European companies, of the European cloud service provider, is shrinking at the same time. In the past 3 years, we've seen a dramatic shift from 26 to 10%. So the expectations, if nothing changes, that the cloud service provider will be out of the cloud market. They will be doing something else. If they are able to do that, they will resell hyperscaler services. They will do something else, but they will be out of the cloud market when the cloud market is such an opportunity, because it's growing. So this is a big need, and this is the big need for the cloud service provider. So how do I capitalize this potential of growth while I don't have the capability to compete with the hyperscalers? But then let's move from the CSP's point of view to the business point of view, to the company's point of view. So I'm a European company. I'm recognizing that value of my company is in the data. More and more is shifting from the physical to the digital, to the data. What are the opportunities that I have today? Three opportunities. First, I can go to Amazon, I can go to Microsoft, I can go to Google, to Oracle, whatever. So these logos are just by example. Don't think that these are representing the whole market. So yes, they are very good. They have great portfolio, super deep, great capabilities. They are building region in Europe. but they have gaps. They have gaps in digital sovereignty because they are building region, they are building data centers at any street, but still they are subject to the Cloud Act. So some American authorities, US authorities can access your data without letting you know. We talked about resilience before, resilience in a super, how to say, complex and uncertain environment, also from the geopolitical standpoint. We have had just US election last week. Something happened there. Is that a threat to my organization? Maybe, okay. Then I have lock-in, and then I have hyper-centralization. So if I join, if I buy cloud from one of these guys, then I'm locked in. If I want to move out, I will have to pay a lot of money. And we have plenty of examples here. We just had some good examples in the past month. Then we have the offering of the individual EU cloud service provider. I can go to Aruba, I can go to Ionos, but at a certain point, if I am a multinational company, even if I'm small, but I have plants located around Europe, I will have a problem because none of these guys have the critical mass and the depth of portfolio that can allow them to compete with these big guys. So they will always choose this when they need scalability, when they need capacity, when they need a depth of offering. At the same time, these guys are good when they provide a controllable solution, when they are close to the customer. So each of them has plus and cons. And then we have European projects that play a very important role because they allow companies to navigate in the complex world of the regulation. They create the standards, they create the policies, they create awareness. But at the other end, they do not provide a commercial offering that I can buy. If I am a Barilla and I want to buy some cloud, I don't go to Gaia-X or etc. to buy something. So this is the context that we see. And then there is the business. We are talking quite a lot, more than talking to the cloud service provider. We are talking to the business, to the company, to the CIO of the big companies or the small companies. There are some quotes here. So everybody's saying, okay, the digital sovereignty is not a buzzword. So when I'm transforming my business, when I recognize that the data that I'm capturing, governing are the value, I want to manage that. And I want to manage that at the extent that my CEO that doesn't trust the big guys has asked me to build a new data center, which is completely out of time, is desperately out of time to invest in a data center today when the innovation is so fast, the offering is changing radically month by month, etc. You can read that, but mainly the point is everybody in the business recognizes that there is a need in that, which is touching also the big guys here, for instance, the SAP. Yesterday there was an announcement that SAP finally opened to a European cloud service provider, because until last week, if you want to move to RISE, which is the new cloud SAP, and you are forced to do that because SAP is moving ahead and is not supporting any longer the old version, then they tell you, okay, you move to RISE, but then you have three alternatives, which are three American guys that can sustain and manage that. And they are pissed off because I need to give my super critical data and put it in an American platform today with trap, etc., etc. And on the other end, I have to, if not, all the regulated data, I will never think about putting into cloud. I will keep it in my on-premise, in my own data center. So this is a big need. So I'm going a little bit fast on these. So going back to because I love to talk. Sorry, just stop me. So we recognize these priorities for the cloud service provider. So we need to have the critical mass to be recognized in the market from the other guys that have that demand, an answer demand. I need to have the critical mass. At the same time, customer proximity that I've built in the years, I need to protect that. So I know very well my customer, they know me, they trust me, but I'm not able to retain them because I don't have the critical mass. On the other hand, if I want to survive, I need to reach new markets. And to reach new markets, I need to leverage on an additional sales channel. If we go back to the hyperscalers, they don't sell. They have an indirect sell. So everybody is selling Amazon Cloud rather than Amazon. So their sales is very limited. They leverage on their ecosystem of partners to create this sales channel. And that's what is needed also from the European cloud service provider. And also I want to participate to the large deals that today I'm not able to participate because there are some participation rules that get me out of certifications. I don't have certification. So if there is a tender, a public tender, and they require for certification, it's very difficult for a single European cloud service provider to be considered as a subject that provide the service with a certain certification. And then there is innovation and compliance. So if I'm so small, how can I be able to deliver innovation to my customer? In a world that is changing very rapidly, everybody is now looking into AI as a top priority. They're looking at HPC solution. But at the same time, they're looking for the respect of ethical principles from Europe and data sovereignty. And on the other hand, I need to simply enlarge my portfolio. So I'm offering just a limited range of services because I'm small, but at the same time, to be credible, I need to enrich my portfolio, add new innovative solution, add geographical coverage. Let's go to Dynamo. So this is the way Dynamo works. Dynamo is an ecosystem. Dynamo wants to create a merge of the capabilities of the European cloud service provider. How does this happen? So first, we create a unique ecosystem of different cloud service provider. Each cloud service provider that wants to apply to Dynamo select the service that they want to contribute and to onboard on the platform. The idea is that the combination of the service creates a common catalog and benefits from the scalability. Each cloud service provider can benefit from the scalability. When we talk about the cloud service provider, we want to set rules. So we want to involve only European companies. That means that they are in Europe, that they have a European property, services are located in Europe, and that they are respectful and compliant with all the EU regulation. And that's what happens in the onboarding. When we do the onboarding of the cloud service provider and the services of the cloud service provider in the platform, we have a validation and qualification of this process. We use, of course, our trust engine, which is built and based on the Gaia-X digital clearinghouse. And we built also the way the framework, the contractual framework that enables the regulation of the relationship among all the different service providers. So if I'm joining the ecosystem, I'm signing a common master service agreement, and by this master service agreement, I can run business with all the other participants without signing specific agreements, singular agreements. And I'm also committing to have a specific minimum service requirements, SLAs, etc. When I'm in the catalog, then I'm a partner. I can publish my services, and at the same time, I can look into the catalog of the other of the common catalog and select the services that the other are publishing, so that at this point I'm able to go to my customer and present an offering which is the sum of my offering and the offering of all the other cloud service providers that I have selected. Okay? This comes through. Also here, there is an automation. So Dynamo is not just a directory and a list of services, but is a virtual platform, is a sort of cloud managed platform that integrates the cloud managed platform of the other service provider. So that when one cloud service provider, let's make an example, Aruba goes and sells to a company services, they sell their own services, and maybe they can sell services from Ionos from Germany, okay, in the same space. All these flow, both the order to cash, but also the provisioning is completely automated. That means that Dynamo is integrating the sort of CRM or a ERP. I need to go, yeah. This is just a use case. I will leave it for you, but it's just showing the fact that cloud service provider can put together their capabilities to satisfy the needs of a specific user. Let's go to the money. So we've seen a market that is doubling in the next 3 years. So how do we believe that Dynamo can impact on the market? We strongly believe that once that the companies, the cloud service provider, have put together their own capabilities and can be considered alternative to the hyperscaler, they will just simply, if they just maintain their share of wallet, they will more than double their revenues in the next 3 years. So by allowing the cloud service provider to offer a complete catalog of services, getting a complete geographical coverage, that will allow to increase the volume of sales, their revenues, by more than 260%. We have a strong impact on the customer base. Because of that, I will be able to service customers that today are not considering my offer. I will increase the breadth of my portfolio because I will be able to integrate in my portfolio not only IaaS services delivered in other part of the country or in other part of Europe, but I will also be able to enrich the portfolio of innovative solution, AI solution, HPC solution, API connection solution. And that will have an impact on the profit margin as well, and of course on the capacity of the resources. So I will be able to create synergies in the delivery of the service by sharing the resources with the other companies. And at the same time, we believe that when participating to tenders, there will be quite a higher possibility to win tenders and deals that today are seeing the European cloud service provider as or not invited or losers. So this is what we believe that is happening. This is not the ROI of Dynamo. The Dynamo model, I'm not entering into that, will be based on a subscription fee and a transaction fee. So Dynamo will win only when the participant of the ecosystem will generate value. So we really concentrate on the fact that we are building this value for the companies. We are having a lot of talks. We are having a lot of onboarding activities in these days. So the big ones that I mentioned before are already part of the ecosystem. We are now onboarding them in the platform. The platform is a real concrete platform. We have just delivered the first release and where we are onboarding the service. And by the Q1, by the beginning of next year, we will be starting the negotiation on the platform with the end users. And we have some numbers. So those indicators that we've seen before, this is the numbers for the ecosystem that we are projecting, which is quite conservative. So we are now 0, and because we will start transacting business in 2025, we just onboarding a number of big participants to the ecosystem, but we are seeing a lot of we've seen. I told you is the market of the cloud service provider is extremely fragmented. We have hundreds and hundreds of prospects and people that we are talking to that are interested in joining. By simply joining the platform, we are projecting these numbers in terms of increase of TCV, which is 907, almost 1 million, and in terms of the TCV that is creating for each single partner joining the ecosystem, which is generating quite a number, a consistent number in terms of TCV for the old partners. So 58 million and almost 400 billion in 2026. This is.
Sorry to jump in. These are only a snapshot of the numbers. We have a real business case.
Yeah.
But we are only showcasing it when someone is willing to enter on the share of Dynamo, because you can. We have an European capital, okay? So you can be a partner without entering the capital of the company, or you can also enter the capital of the company, and we will share all the business case detailed to discuss. Sorry.
Okay. That was my last slide. Thank you.